Good evening, everyone. We began because we were having a little technical difficulty this evening. This is a meeting of the Gloucester School Committee. It is August 27th, 2025, and we're meeting at the Gloucester High School Library. The public is welcome to attend meetings in person or alternatively through the Zoom link provided on the agenda. The meeting notice will reflect if the meeting is via Zoom only. As the recent amendments to open meeting law allows, that the school committee may continue to hold meetings remotely. Please note the in-person meeting will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the remote connection. I want to say this is the first meeting since the tragic accident that took place at the end of June. We would like to honor and remember Christopher Daly, who was a vibrant and beloved member of the class of 2025. I ask that after the salute to the flag, we take a long moment of silence to send our thoughts for continued healing to Lexi Carollo, Bella Iacano, and Colby Jewell, and especially to honor Chris's memory. May God in our community continue to hold Chris and his family close. And I ask that you join this flag with the whole side. To the flag. We will begin with introductions as to who is present. I know Laura Weason is not able to attend the meeting tonight, so that's not here. Start with Amy.
Amy Pasquale, Assistant Superintendent.
And Loma Superintendent.
Jarvis, Director of Special Education Services.
Jeremy McKean, School Committee.
Melissa Kern, School Committee.
Kathy Clancy, School Committee.
Keith Minio, School Committee.
Greg Berger, Mayor and School Committee.
Stephanie DeLacy, Recording Secretary.
And Bill Melvin is a little bit late, but he is expected to be here. First item of business is oral communications. We have no one in the audience this evening. I see no hands raised. We have two attendees on. Okay, seeing no hands raised, we will move on to recognitions. Any recognitions? If we have good summer.
I want to recognize all the advanced work that the teachers and staff are doing ahead of our upcoming school year.
And I guess I recognize the DPW maintenance crews, in spite of all the work they're doing at the DPW yard for recycling, they still get the work done here. So kudos to all those guys and gals.
Yeah, we're very appreciative.
I'll just piggyback to that, say that floor outside of this room is beautiful over near the gym. Very nice. And I heard there's a lot more work down here in the 17th.
Okay, and we do not have our student advisory council quite yet, but we do have the names on our agenda, so we look forward to having them at our next meeting. Next item is approving the consent agenda. Does anybody have any items they would like to remove?
I move for acceptance.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next item is deliberations on education issues and the superintendent's report. We'll turn it over to Superintendent Lemons.
Okay, it's quick. Hello, folks. So let me give you a couple things here. I'll give you a report on just some things that are happening around the district. But then go into our hiring update and sort of open schools update. Then Ms. Pasquale will take over with the summer professional learning and also summer learning update as well. So sort of just go like that. And then by the time I finish that, John Farrell is already here, but Mike Titus and Dan Jewish should be joining us remotely to go over the parent handbooks and the very sort of minimal changes that are in those. So 1 second here. Presentation. So, Stephanie, if you could just minimize the
Yes.
photos there, and the video, thank you. So as we say, everybody matters, everybody belongs, and every student learns here in the Gloucester Public Schools. So
Could
good
you
to
go
see.
back to that first page with the, you look like a Secret Service agent up there. It's pretty impressive.
Thank you for pointing it out. I appreciate that, Mayor. It's very helpful. Very solemn occasion. This is the Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah,
If you remember.
Jimi Hendrix style, it was
Yeah,
great.
Jimi Hendrix style. And yes, I was giving it its proper respect. So I was trying to anyway. There'll be another photo of me later in the presentation and folks can comment on that as well. There we go, thank you. So today, August 27th, we are a few days away from the opening of school. So I want to acknowledge that, appreciate just our teachers, our paraprofessionals, our district office staff. I'll give you some more updates in a moment about all things that have been happening, but I couldn't possibly capture the work behind the scenes, the work at home, the work some folks coming to school, obviously, doing work there, setting up classrooms, and certainly can't capture the emotion, excitement, energy, nerves, and all that that's happening as well. You know, both in our schools right now, but also at homes around the city, but also far afield as well, with our employees, and of course, students as well. So a lot of excitement and energy as we approach the school year. I'll get a little more into dates in a moment. I want to acknowledge a few, some pieces of big news that have happened since we last had a meeting. The O'Malley Science Center is a beneficiary of a $100,000 earmark line item from the state budget. That's really thanks to the leadership of Senator Bruce Tarr and Representative Anna Margaret Fronte. Their support of our science center, science program at O'Malley, and really also a testament to all the work and leadership from Amy Donnelly and David Brown, and then also for the teachers at O'Malley too. So as I continue to say to everyone I possibly can, the O'Malley Science Center is you know, almost I think without peer among public middle schools in the state, with its facilities and programs and ways students do hands-on learning. And Senator Tarr and Representative Fronte want to acknowledge that, are acknowledging that in two ways. One, through the earmark that came through the supplemental budget, and then also by sponsoring legislation that would help schools to replicate or grow their own science centers around the state. So, but just a testament to the great work that happens at O'Malley. So a couple things, I'll just give you one update from O'Malley Academy, but then Amy will have more later on. Just a great approach to some learning at this is at O'Malley Academy, the Green Minds Academy Sustainability Squad. So this was a group of students working around at O'Malley in the Science Center there on the left, but also at around the city, becoming sort of leaders in sustainability and the environment. And being activists, and they were learning to explore, discover, and make waves this summer, make waves literally and figuratively. So, it's a great program. A little bit more about that and all the other tremendous things that are happening at O'Malley Academy a little bit later tonight. So, Gloucester High School, as you know, John Perella is new principal, but also we have a new dean of students, which is Samantha Meyer. So she started since we had our last meeting as well. And they and Allison Alves, our assistant principal, have been doing a lot of work this year, getting their team up and running, you know, getting the school up and running, organized, ready to go. Dr. Perella has met with many staff members. And then last night they held an open house for families and students. 32 people came by to meet them, and they were there to meet and greet and answer questions and just start to get to know more people. So I really appreciate Dr. Perella's efforts to get to know the community. School community this summer. And then tomorrow night, they're having a new student and rising 9th grade orientation at the high school, here at the high school. Again, introducing them to the new leadership team, school tour, distribution of Chromebooks, sort of thing. So a number of things going on at the high school. Our field hockey team has already won a tournament this year, which is exciting, summer tournament. Really appreciate the coaches and leadership of the team, makes a strong effort. And also from Alina Brown with a great defense and Mac Manuga in 2 goals by Fiona. I don't have the last name. I'm sorry about that. And then also just a reminder to families about our after-school program that we do in conjunction with YMCA at our elementary schools. They are signing people up now into the beginning of the school year. And families have the option to have after-school care from dismissal until 6 p.m. Why don't we just move on here, keep moving on, if it's okay for folks, to the school opening update. So I'll start with some schedule things here. Next week's schedule, September 2nd, so that's Tuesday, we have our all-staff opening. Idle mailing begins at 8 o'clock, all school committee members are invited to come, of course, hope you can make it. The mayor and Kathy Clancy and myself, Rachel Rex, will be speaking. And then school-based staff return to their schools for the rest of the day after that, for staff meetings, professional learning trainings. That's work is organized by the administrative team, administrators at each school. And then this year, different than in the past years. As you may remember, one of the agreements that the GTA and GTA and the school committee worked out was that the second day would be a staff work day at each school. So we start with 2 staff days beginning this year, which is much more typical for schools around the Commonwealth. The second day, September 3rd, school-based staff will be at their buildings and they organize that time for themselves, but get guidance on a number of things that they can be doing. That's everything. And some of the suggestions are there. Mandatory training, they have mandatory training they're obligated to do. They can spend time on that. Review of IEPs and 504s, staff meeting together, especially special education staff or ESPs, classroom setup, then also working on schedules for special education students. So those are a few of the things that folks will be working on at their schools on September 3rd. And then of course, September 4th is the first day, a week from tomorrow, as the first day of school for grades 1 through 12. And then we have kindergarten and preschool, which is a little bit different. Let me pause there. Any questions on the opening days there? Nope. Okay, great. So countdown to kindergarten. So that's sort of one of the major steps. And we held that last week, 2 weeks ago.
The 20th,
Last week.
I was distracted by the picture,
Yeah,
in case anybody didn't notice it.
it was in an earlier draft, the presentation was much bigger. Anyway.
Was it the photo we're supposed to comment on?
Right. You can also comment on the nice photo of the family in the upper left too. So more than 250 people came out to the field house. We now hold countdown to kindergarten at the field house. I think it's their 3rd year having it there, which was a great change and very exciting to do for the kids to come in and see the next high school where they'll be going eventually. Take photos as members of the class of 2038. So our incoming kindergarten class of 2038. Which means it's getting cycling close to 2050, but that's another matter. When 250 folks came to visit, the kindergarten students and their families. I think we had about almost 70% of the kindergarten class coming, and 68% of the kindergarten class coming. And they came to meet their principals, but also their kindergarten teachers. They were all there, so appreciate those folks turning out. Also to participate and have fun at different stations from different organizations. So we had great partnerships like we always do. Sawyer Free, Pathways, GEF, Maritime Gloucester, Wellspring, Cape Ann Museum, and more were there to engage the kids and families. Cape Ann Museum, Sawyer Free was giving out library cards, which is a great thing for kindergarten to have, especially with the new building. And then also want to really appreciate Amy Larson of Pathways and Chris Castle from our staff. They are really the leaders of this and pull so many people in together to get it done. Volunteers and others, thanks to the PTO leaders of each school. They were also there to meet families and greet families. So just really appreciate how much work goes into something that's as fun and energizing as Countdown to Kindergarten.
There was loud music and a bouncy house and I can't remember what other.
Some games like football throwing and basketball shooting and things like
A
that.
lot of very excited kids.
Yeah, a lot of enthusiasm. Some nerves as well from the adults and the kids, but it's all part of it. It's all part of being a parent, being a family. So the school schedule for kindergarten, September 4th and 5th. So next Thursday and Friday, they have kindergarten screening. And they have orientation. So that's when they do each of the schools do some assessments of students, informal assessments and otherwise, observing of students, and that helps them in placement creation of the classrooms, okay, and class assignment. And then they have on 8th and the 9th, They take half the students at a time. So one half on the 8th, one half on the 9th, have orientation and really sort of run through the school day. So it's a smaller class at that point, smaller class size. But the first full day for kindergarten students is September 10th. In addition to those activities and orientations, the schools are having their own specific events like back to school picnics or popsicle parties. And different elementary schools do it different ways. So nice way of welcoming folks. Any questions about kindergarten? Our preschool opens on the first day on September 10th as well. Questions on that? Okay, staffing update. Great news for staffing update this year. Better than I think ever since I've been here, honestly. So best in 6 years. Start of the year staffing better than ever, or better than in recent years. East Veterans and Plum Cove were fully staffed for all positions. That's the first time East Veterans has been fully staffed this time of year since it opened. It's third year, obviously. West Parish, and also a vast difference from last year when they've had those staffing challenges throughout the year until the very end of the year. West Parish, Beaman, and Gloucester Preschool are all fully staffed for teachers. Okay, Gloucester High and O'Malley each have one open teacher position. Both of those are due to recent resignations. That's something they've been trying to do. It's just recent news, basically. And disappointing news, honestly. When people resign at this time of the year, especially it's to go other places, it's very disappointing and something that I'm really challenged by, honestly. And we have the smallest number of openings in years across all positions. So just 2 teacher openings across the district. 3 openings for related services professionals, and that's a speech and language pathologist, a psychologist, and occupational therapist. And 8 paraprofessional openings. 6 of those are at O'Malley. That's still a work in progress at O'Malley, but O'Malley's done a lot recently to get their teachers in. I do want to really just appreciate and recognize our principals for doing just tremendous work all throughout the summer. And teacher team and staff teams who helped out with interviews. And our district office staff as well, particularly Roberta Eason, Nate Pomeroy, at resources, and then Cody Marshall in finance, just really helping out to support our staff, our teachers, our school teams and our principals in getting things posted, getting people processed, onboarding folks, so just a ton of work in the summertime.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So the 2 resignations that we now have open positions, do we have a pool, candidacy pool that we could draw from other advertisements or? Is it?
Yeah, so one of them, yes, actually interviewing, interviews are scheduled now, but they're the shift that has happened here, just to let you know the details of it is, we have a Spanish cultural class, Spanish, at O'Malley, and that teacher left. So Mike Titus is going to replace it with an additional music teacher.
Okay.
So we'll expand our music program and every student will have music,
I
okay?
thought we were looking for a music teacher.
Well, so we'll have 2 instead of 1.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how we're adding,
Okay.
so, and we believe that that's gonna be, more effective, more use of time, and also, sort of double down on music as opposed to the Spanish cultural.
So we're not having that Spanish cultural program?
No, we won't. It's never been a real Spanish language program. It's
Oh,
not a
okay.
Spanish language progression. It's a class that every student has once in their 3 years.
Okay.
So, that's why if it was Spanish language, it'd be much different, but
I know,
we
yeah.
don't have a Spanish language to speak of. It's more of a cultural immersion would be saying too much just because, it's been a good classroom led by a great teacher, okay? It's a real loss, okay? I don't want to minimize it. But it's, I can't say immersion because it doesn't happen as intensely as that. Okay. Sort of an introduction, basically.
Thank you.
Yeah, and just for folks to know that, this is the latest information. Our website isn't always kept up with exactly the date. It's pretty current right now. There are probably a couple openings on there that are filled or in the process of paperwork's being completed. That's when the person's hired, and so we typically wait till all of the things are, with any new hire all settled before we actually pull it off the website. When people go here or hear us talk and then hear that and get disconnected, that's because that's often delayed. Just wanted you to know that.
Do we, how are we doing with bus drivers, is that?
Yeah, we'll get to that in a little bit, yep. So I want to not introduce, but acknowledge our new staff. These lists here, I'll go by each school, won't explain everyone's name, read everyone's name, but just so you can see and members of the public can see where we hired. These don't include people who had transfer positions, so they were in one position in the school and then into another position, okay? It's folks who hadn't worked with us last year, basically. These aren't new, some of these are new positions, and actually what you'll see here is you'll see, and I'll point them out. You added new positions to the budget, okay, special education. I'll point out some of those, so you'll see those people who've hired, that's what I mean. So in the middle school, obviously new principal, new dean of students, so 2 to 3 primary administrators are new this year, so big changes there. And then a smaller number of teachers that we added this year, and then ESPs. And typically every district I've ever worked in has pretty there's a turnover every year on paraprofessionals, and that's not a surprise here either. The good news is we're fully staffed for paraprofessionals after high school at this point. At O'Malley, you'll see, I'll point out a few things here. You'll remember making a big investment in special education at O'Malley. So you see Leanne Bradley hired to be the special education coordinator. You'll see the language-based program, which is an additional, we had a language-based program at O'Malley for many years, okay? It's a progression from our language-based program at East Veterans. But we've added a teacher there, and that's through reallocating some dollars to make it stronger. So we do 2 teachers in the language-based program instead of a teacher and a couple paras. You'll see Lauren Hennessy, who actually was with us last year. So she's not a new hire, but this is a new position because I put it here because it's a new program. So the life skills program at you should be talking about this, not right. This step you helped.
You're right on.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Sorry. New program at the middle school. That's because of students moving up from 5th grade. We need to add that program, and we've transferred Lauren over to the middle school to do that. It's great. Our emotional behavioral therapeutic program at the middle school, new program again. We're talking about that. Stephanie Moscato has joined us for that. And also Jude Seminaro will be part of that program as well. And then autism, the autism person isn't on here. Oh, no, I know. So we also we redefined the autism program at special education at O'Malley, but that's Dylan Leone, who is already employed as a teacher, special education teacher, is taking that role. So that's big changes, and particularly support for teachers through Ms. Bradley as well. It'd be great. She's already on board. A couple others, we can put a couple of different schools on one slide here. So Beeman and Plum have a very limited new staff here.
Is somebody on there twice?
Yeah, I was just.
Grass, it's spelled
So one
differently.
says Graciela and one says Graciela.
Yeah, you have Graciela as the medical assisting.
Medical assistant, yeah.
And
Oh,
speech and language.
got it. Okay, that's probably my mistake. Graça Ferrara is the medical assistant teacher.
Is it with the C or the Z? Graciela or?
I think
There's a
it's,
Z in it.
I don't know.
Okay.
But we'll find out. Sorry about that.
C.
I would say, yes.
Yeah, it's a Z.
I think she hired the. Myself.
Yeah.
Got it. Oh, Kristen.
No.
Okay, so there are 2 Graziella Ferraras.
Yeah.
Did you say there aren't?
There are not.
Okay.
Okay, we believe it's a Z, okay, from good sources here in the room. And she is the medical assisting
Great.
teacher. Sorry about that. Good catch. And then East Veterans, the most significant hiring, but it's completed. And so you see just a variety of roles here. And as you can see, really significant special education. Most of the ESPs are special education paraprofessionals. I think all of them are. So you see the vast majority of new staff at East Veterans is special education or related services, so psychologists and speech and language pathologists. And then West Parish, a few hires, most significantly, Patty Bernhardt, who's assistant principal / education coordinator. So that, as you remember, a new administrator position, elevated from a program leader position. And again, designed to provide more support to our staff and families and students, obviously, but really staff and families to help the programs there, intensive programs, autism programs, and others, and life skills support students more effectively. And then last, Gloucester Preschool, 1 teacher. This teacher was elevated from a paraprofessional position and also That's because we added a teacher through the CPBI. We added a new teacher through the CPBI grant, but she came from the preschool. Okay. It's a new position, but not a new person in that position, it's CPBI. And then district-wide, BCBA, and then when we say district-wide, we mean they work across schools. These folks are board certified behavior analyst and then 2 occupational therapists.
Wow.
A lot of hiring, I mean, there's always a lot of hiring basically, so, and we haven't given you such a comprehensive report, I think in the past. And these are our opening, this is the best news is that our openings fit on 1 page. And you'll see that there's 2 teachers here, 3 related services, speech and language pathologist, psychologist, and occupational therapist. And then, I believe it's 8 ESPs. Yeah, 6 O'Malley and then 1 across preschool, 1 human. And assistant director for transportation. What you don't have on here are bus drivers. I'll talk more about bus drivers in a moment, but to say that those are, they're always open, we always need more bus drivers. But we're fully staffed with food service workers, for example. We have 6 bus monitors, that sort of thing, so. Before I go on operations update, which will be about facilities and transportation, any questions on hiring?
I guess I have a question to Dr. Jarvis.
Yeah.
So the new program that's coming this year, with the special education,
Middle school,
no,
Emotional?
no,
at Beaman,
even,
yes.
well, actually, go from, do
An
you
expansion,
feel,
actually.
do you feel we can move forward without an issue with the hires that we have? In other words, do you feel staffed? Fully staffed?
Yes, yeah, I do, because it's 2 teachers, so it's not an absolute new program.
Yeah.
It's an expansion of the
It's an
program, so it's
expansion of
upper, lower elementary and upper elementary. It's provision with enough staff to get started. And so as that gains traction or gains referrals, then we'd have to look and decide whether we need to expand at additional staff. But right now, we are starting turnkey in the way of the staffing that we have.
And the co-teaching part,
So we're building that out
Yeah.
slowly, right? So we're building that out in stages. So this is, we're calling year 1.
Year 1.
Okay, so this is year 1, and so we gotta build that out.
yeah.
And a lot of that will be repurposing of staff. So instead of having one-off services and having staff members chase services, what we need to do is front load those services and build systems of support and have the teachers, instead of chase services, become co-teachers. So it wouldn't be just an absolute full expansion.
Right.
It might be in situation.
I just knew there was a lot of anxiety around, this starting up this year, and
Yeah.
I remember Amy being very clear that, we're not gonna have all the answers day one, and
Yeah.
just. So I'm just wondering now, here we are, school opening, how do you feel going into the new year?
Yeah, so with co-teaching, it's the initial step. So when I think of initial step, I think of support, right? And then don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes are okay, right?
Yeah.
And in fact, that's where innovation happens, right? You try something out, it doesn't
Figure
work,
it out.
and you figure out what does work, and then you can innovate something. So I really wanna create a culture where that people feel comfortable with that. So they're not afraid of taking chances on it. On the 3 M's, so it's model, methodology, and material. Those are the things I'm gonna be looking for to support our staff, so that we can front load the specially designed instruction for our kids. So instead of us chasing services, they have it real time. That's just gonna be the program.
And a few other things there is that, that are in the works is, Mike will be meeting with, principals and special education program leader or administrators at each school on a monthly, on a regular basis. And that way they can, make sure that he's in the loop and they're working together to address any challenges folks have. And also continue on an ongoing basis to provide, support, but also professional learning around co-teaching as we go along. So, that's, it happens over time, bit by bit. I haven't talked to folks specifically about being anxious, but our folks are always anxious to some degree about the start of school. Yeah, so that's still gonna be there.
Yeah,
And some of it's because it's just the beginning of the school year, some of it because they're trying something new.
Right.
A bunch of the folks who are doing the co-teaching have had some experience with it, if not, a lot of experience with it. So again, as you remember, each school sort of organized how they wanted to do it. And they did that based on how they felt they were best situated, but also, specific staff who would be doing it and what they felt was manageable, so.
And one final question, you might not have the answer, but with the hires that we have, if you may, if I don't.
Okay, so
Do you feel we're going into this new year with the ability to provide more tier 2 intervention than we had last year? And you might not know.
Yeah, I
but
don't,
it's-
it's hard to know, because you don't know how people are gonna staff it and what they're gonna come up with in terms of, intervention groups, I think.
Okay.
I don't think, it's. We won't have enough,
Never know.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
one thing, I mean, and this
Just
is.
trying to improve on it.
Yeah, this isn't necessarily tier 2 intervention, but if you remember, we added, two, special education reading teachers.
Mhm.
One
Yeah.
at West Parish and one at, East Veterans,
Mhm.
and so that helps then, that they will be providing services.
Right.
And that may help other folks, paraprofessionals or others, use
Yeah,
intervention groups, so that's a possibility.
yeah,
You don't have any additional, go ahead.
But co-teaching is a tier 1, tier 2.
exactly.
/ tier 3 sets of interventions.
Yeah.
So the answer is yes, we'll have more because it's first step. and we're
Okay.
taking care of that. So
Alright.
yes,
Okay. I just want to make sure we move ahead
Yeah.
building and no more going backwards,
right,
right?
exactly right.
Just want to hear it.
Yep,
Thank
yep,
you.
yep.
Sorry.
Other questions on staffing? No, okay.
Hi there.
Hi there. Sorry, I'm late.
Okay, so on operations update, so, feeling on safety preparations, just every year, I'm not sure I've really updated the committee or the public about it. Every year we have a meeting with the police and fire, so I met with, Amy Pascal, and I met with a fire chief, a fire assistant chief, right, is that Bob Reeves? Yeah, but,
Yeah.
assistant chief, yeah, I wasn't sure if assistant or deputy or,
Deputy chief.
I know he's the
Oh,
number 2
no,
guy.
deputy, that police department.
Assistant, I think. he said
I know
assistant.
Mr. Reeves is the number 2 guy, so that's the exact title, and then also Lieutenant Michael Gossam as well. Chief could be there, typically is with Lieutenant Gossam, and then they just go over, we share our emergency and medical plans with them. They have access to those, wherever they are, and then go through any changes there have been, trainings we need to do. Part of that is scheduling, every school schedules 2 intruder drills every year. Those are age appropriate, so they're different according to whether it's elementary, middle, or high school, or preschool. And what we do and how explicit we are really changes dramatically between those age ranges. And then fire department, and our schools schedule, open week fire drills. That's required by law. And then DPW checks and probably certifies all the fire extinguishers as well. Those are a few of the things we do, make sure we're ready in terms of safety.
Can I make a comment?
Of course.
You remember a few years ago, there was a city councilor who wanted us to basically go to the council, do a presentation on what our plans are for evacuation and.
Yeah.
So just to assure the public, they exist, but we're not advertising.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly, right, good, yep. Yeah, they absolutely exist, and they're, reviewed every year and updated, updated as necessary. Thank you. So transportation, just a few updates. So every year we have a driver bid day, and that's when they decide, the routes are assigned to the drivers. Which are being finalized, will be on our website, and on Facebook, tomorrow. Student buses are also being finalized. So let me go back to the routes. So a few on the routes, a few stops don't change here or there. It's just being finalized, and updated. Student bus lists are being finalized. They'll be shared with principal, school secretary. So, every school gets a list of its buses, what color, what color, what number, and also, what students go on those buses, okay? And we'll get those, Lori Francis is working on those now. She's still dealing with a lot of transportation registrations and sort of stuff, and communicating with families back and forth. She'll get those to school secretaries and Tuesday or Wednesday next week. Okay, we'll start a school. And then we continue to communicate to families about transportation. At this point, it's a lot of one-offs, honestly. Talking to the transportation director or the school secretary or registration, Christine Castle or Augustine Parsons, particularly with our English learner families. Augustina and Chris do a lot of outreach to them, to make sure that they show time and where. And that personal outreach multilingual families has helped a ton in the last year and this year as well. Staffing, on disappointing to report, staffing is at the same level as last year, because we lost a driver over the summer. We expect to have one more. If you remember, towards the end of last year, one more was hired. So we're back to where we started last year. We had 13 bus drivers, then we now have 6 bus monitors. And that means on the same challenge we have, on the Maplewood area, Maplewood Avenue area, we'll not be able to add a bus there. Right? We are 2 bus drivers away from being able to do that. Okay, if you may remember last year, we added a new bus driver after she was fully trained and passed. We added a special education bus. We've lost a driver now, so our next driver will be that same special education route, I should say. Okay, so we're still a fair bit away from the Maplewood Avenue area. Just as a reminder, the Maplewood Avenue area is within 1.5 miles. Okay, the state requirement is within 2 miles. Beyond 2 miles, we provide transportation. We're below that. If someone's beyond 1.5 miles, we provide transportation. Maplewood Avenue is within 1.5 miles of East Veterans. Okay,
So I think, just so the public's aware,
Yeah.
these positions are funded, they have been funded.
oh yeah,
Just finding people has been.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. No. We are always advertising.
Yeah.
Oh, no, absolutely right. It is been ongoing since the pandemic. I don't think it started before that. Very, very challenging. All across the board, basically. All across districts. So we have had over the past 2+ years, I'd say, this dynamic of adding and then losing, adding and losing. We haven't been able to get above this threshold of 14, 15 drivers, which really want to be 14, 16 drivers. We haven't been able to get above 13.
Should we take this opportunity to do a sales pitch? Like, what are some of the requirements? If anybody out there listening or
Yeah.
be watching this later,
So one thing is we pay you while we train you, okay, which is a great deal, while you get your license, okay? You have full benefits, in terms of healthcare and pension eligibility through the city's retirement system. Dental as well. You have flexible schedules and really an opportunity to gain additional work as well. So you can really create, you can do more work if you want and need to. You get to spend time with great kids, that sort of thing. You become a really well-known and I think in many ways beloved member of the community. I mean, there are bus drivers who know all their families and know the students, and remember, and their students remember them, and they remember students for many years. So for some of our bus drivers, if you walk around town with them, I think you're seeing a lot of hellos, that sort of stuff. So, but yeah, it's a real community-based position that is essential to our schools and our community, honestly. So those are some of the benefits. I'd say. Anyone else has others to add, you're welcome to.
Having a father who was a bus driver after he retired from his state job, he took tremendous joy out of
Yeah.
the kids.
Yeah.
He made Christmas cards and he just loved them.
And then, this is an hourly position, or they get a guaranteed, like,
It's hourly position, but there's guaranteed, minimums of work and hours per day, hours per week, yeah.
okay, so they have a baseline pay.
Yep.
Regardless of like.
Yep, and then there's other opportunities, there's charters or, which happen, nights and weekends, sort of stuff, for additional pay.
Yeah, so it's like essentially a part-time job, like hourly wise.
Yeah, it's not, I mean, yes, I think, yeah, I mean, it's not a full 40 hours per week,
Mm.
you certainly can get up to that.
Yeah.
Based on charters and additional work and sort of thing, but it's not, as its own, not a, considered, a 40-hour per week
An
job.
opportunity to work over the summer.
Yep.
Yeah.
And full benefits too.
Yeah.
One more thing is, also some community questions around Plum Cove. So remember last year, we actually 3 years ago, we modified, revised, updated school zones. And so that meant that more students were taking the bus, needed the bus to go to Plum Cove from further away. And so last year, what was happening then was the bus was full, as, you know, as the two buses came to Washington Street, so we had to, go and, we had to treat, Plum Cove like the other schools in terms of 1.5 mile, limit. And, minimum, I guess. And so unfortunately, last year, we gave that news to families pretty late in the year. But that's maintaining this year as well. That we won't reinstitute those former routes. In some ways, it was okay because you're going down Washington Street as well, and so where the bus stops are on the Plum Cove route as you get up towards Goose Cove and Annisquam and Bayview. But if the folks who are, outside of 1.5 and 2 miles and more, you have, too many students or not enough students to fill the bus, we can't then provide that benefit, that extra benefit we don't provide to other schools in that area.
Does that answer, if anybody has inquired if it's changed from last year, that answer's been given consistently that it had not
Has
changed.
not changed, right, yeah. I'm not on all, I get some of that outreach, but a lot of it's either the school or Florida Francis, yeah. And it's the same situation as last year. There's just got a couple questions about, no sidewalks on Washington Street in that area. There are sidewalks all the way through on Washington Street. I think all the way from the Mill River, or even maybe from Grand Circle, honestly. There's sidewalks all the way up to Plum Cove, and the street that Plum Cove is on does not have sidewalks, but it's a neighborhood street. Not very long, and folks are driving slowly. But otherwise, Washington Street does have sidewalks the whole way.
Any other questions?
More just because I'm curious, Ben, do we use an app for the parents of the bus?
Yeah,
We do,
We do.
still.
Yeah, we do use the app and they can get updates to that. We also provide updates in Kinvo, so
Yeah.
either text or email, whatever folks have chosen. And those updates are typically around, is there a substitute driver? It's gonna be late today, was there a route change? And so what Lori Francis, our transportation director, does is, in the first couple of weeks, she creates those lists where we can communicate, from who the riders are.
Yeah,
And then can communicate them, through the Kinvo.
Yeah.
Kinvo is more of a, it's, you get a text message or email.
right.
There's also the app as well, so either one.
Through the chair, can I just give a paving update? Mike Dale just told me that the intersection of High Street and Hickory are going to be paved. Not the whole road, but like a T across and then up Hickory. He's hoping to do it ASAP before school starts. If not, we're looking at the spring, but fingers crossed it'll be done soon.
Typically, Kinvo's good at helping and letting Lori know when this happens, when we just pay the car. Yeah, that's great. And then, speaking of DPW, I just want to really credit and thank DPW and their custodial staff and other staff and I'll have a more complete report on sort of repairs and projects that were done. But just, at the very least, whether it's, the staff here, Don Berlino at the middle school and Matt Swanson, veterans, and all across the district. You see on the right-hand picture, a lot of shine on those floors. And that's, just one small part of all the maintenance they're doing.
What's the middle picture?
That's the Beaman Gym,
Beaman?
gym/cafeteria. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I like floors like that in my house. And also doing some groundwork, a lot more groundwork to be done. And we're expecting it to be done within, before school starts. Obviously, some of the folks there today, these are contractors working. DPW does both their own staff and contractors for the grounds of schools and other city buildings. That's at O'Malley there. But just these, I just want to give credit to our custodial staff, the DPW staff for just in a short summer, which also been a short summer break, shorter than typical. Just a whole bunch of work. Here as well, Bones and his crew are also working around the flooring project that was done here and a bunch of other projects also, both tech, like I said, give you a more complete update in 2 weeks. And we're working around that. And still, this looks great, it's great, it's everything. So really appreciate DPW, all their efforts in the summertime. And that is my back to school update. Right? Let's see. I think what we'd like to do, because the three principals are here, is move to the handbooks and then, stop sharing. And then go back to the summer learning update.
Okay.
Would that be okay? We just move, a couple of folks in. Make sure they're ready. Well, Dr. Jewett, Dr. Perella, and Mr. Titus, good to see you. Thanks for joining us tonight. Why don't you guys just make sure you can unmute and test that out.
Good evening.
Hi there.
How about if you guys introduce yourselves to the committee here?
I'm
Right here in
Dan.
the public.
I'm the principal at Plum Cove.
Mike Titus, principal at O'Malley Innovation Middle School. Nice to see you all.
John Perella, principal at Gloucester High School.
Gonna hand off to Ms. Pascarello, and she'll work with these fine gentlemen to give our very limited updates on student handbooks.
There we go. So there are not a lot of additions to the handbooks. There are a couple universal additions, so I'm gonna present those because they're in all the handbooks, and then the individual schools, the principals will speak to. Our student responsible use policy, which you approved last fall, was approved after last year's handbooks were approved. So this year it's officially in the handbook. So that's not a big thing, just a clerical getting it in there. In addition, new is third-party vendors. They now require that we give a parental consent notice. It doesn't need to be a policy, it's just something that has to be a notice. So this policy is, this notice is added in next to the responsible use policy. So there's a copy of that here that was shared with you. It's basically just saying that we are sharing student names and identifying information, minimal identifying information. So that's in there. And then the new Supreme Court ruling about curriculum and parents' opportunity to opt out based on religious concerns. There is on the left-hand side, this is the new language that is added to each of the handbooks. It's in with our non-discriminatory kind of part of the handbook. And this was written by the legal guidance we've gotten from MASS and MASC. So that's been added. So those are the only two universal additions.
And Amy, it's been added as it presents itself right here.
On the left-hand side.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question to that? And it's kind of on a line where I requested some information to superintendent when this first came out. So how are the parents informed to know whether they want to opt out?
Help me understand.
So-
Understand the question.
So this is new language.
Yeah.
It's a new directive. So if parents now have the option to opt out, how is it that they know what they're opting out of? In other words, is there some sort of preview to the parents to know what's in the curriculum so they know whether to opt out? This is just a conversation I want to have at some point. Doesn't have to be tonight. I'm just curious how that's gonna work. If we have this, what does it mean?
Yeah, so we have basic curriculum that is available online when it's
Okay.
the high quality instruction materials, we have that. But then there's other teacher created lessons that match with the standards.
Right.
So this ruling is for, it puts the teachers have to ask to be opted out. It's not like we give a form for them to opt out of anything. They need to inquire. It has to be based on religious.
So parents have to reach out to the teacher to find out if there's something they want to opt out of, is it that?
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's not, the onus is on the family to request this.
Okay,
Right.
It's not on us to share it's in, implausible for us to be sharing every single thing we're doing in every single
Obviously,
classroom.
yeah.
So it's really, the onus is on the family, and then what we'll develop is procedures for what happens when that does. And those procedures will be consistently done at our office level, to make sure that both we understand what the concerns parents have and also what basis they're operating.
Cause I think what we had started to talk about at some point was like the books that students are reading in class. I think it's in Manchester, a community nearby us, that they have some sort of Google document that goes out to the parents before the students read, to let the parents know what the book is about, in case there's a topic that parents might need to support them as they're reading it. So the parents know what's coming and then know if they wanted to opt out of that certain book, if not just
Right.
curriculum. So that's why I say, I'm just trying to figure out how that's gonna
Yes,
work.
so we're in the process of reaching out to other districts. I've not heard that example yet from anybody.
Okay,
Um,
I know
not-
someone who goes to Manchester that said that.
And I haven't, swim there and I haven't
Yeah.
connected on it, because they opened school today.
Yeah.
So before we create procedures on this, we're gonna look at other districts, see what they do.
I would expect that.
Yeah, but we'll go back to community.
I was just wondering how's that gonna work? That's all, how we can make that work. It doesn't have to be same as somebody else, but how's that back and forth go between parents and students and the school? So that parents are involved, right? I'm all about parents being involved in their students' activities in school, so how are we having that back and forth conversation to know if this applies or not? That's all.
And I just want, going to the Supreme Court ruling is, it's not very clear.
Right.
Okay, so there isn't real clear direction to us. But what MSC and MSS have been clear with us is that we do not need to change our policies because of it, okay? And my understanding is that does put we don't have, it's not dictating responsibility for any school district to be publishing every bit of curriculum they're doing. Right, but we'll see, we've been advised to create procedures for when folks request, and we'll also find out what other districts are doing.
Thank you.
I'm interested, Ben, only because so it's gonna be district centered, the policies that we create, instead of, I mean, there's not some state kind of
No,
overarching type
No.
policy.
and it also very clear, it's on religious grounds that folks have the concern, so it's not, not on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, explain, but it's gotta be on that, as opposed to I don't like that, or I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
And we have some, experience with this. I don't need to, these things are different, but they're related. It was, we had to give people an opt-out on vaccinations based on religious grounds. I think it was staff. So that involved conversations with me, and none were ever denied. But that's a sort of, so I just have a little experience with this type of thing, at least, the concern on religious grounds and having conversations, respectful conversations with families, understand what their concerns are.
Yeah.
No, right? And, so we're just I mean, this is a new decision. And schools across the country are sort of sorting it out, understanding what to do and sort of moving those.
Understood.
So I'm thinking back to when I was in high school. I was in class with the Jehovah's Witness and they don't celebrate holidays. Correct me if I'm wrong, they don't celebrate holidays, period.
I can't.
Or specific holidays like Christmas, let's say that, right? And he was exempt from certain activities. So that's a certain, very similar to this kind of scenario, right?
So we've always honored situations like that
Yeah.
within schools. We've always made accommodations for students like that, with different religious beliefs, any religious beliefs. This is specific to the curriculum. And it would be a case by case basis. So a curriculum could be like a whole unit that somebody's working on, or curriculum could be a read aloud that a teacher reads to fill up 5 minutes of time, right? So each case needs to be looked at individually. And we will do that. And we are advised to have a procedure for when that happens. If a parent requests, goes to the principal comes to district office, and then we have a conversation. And it's gonna depend on each situation individually.
Yeah, so I mean, I think I'm with Melissa on this, where what's the practical or the practicality of this? Say that I am an Orthodox Jew or something. And I have very stern convictions about certain topics that will go unnamed, but. So I as a parent of an Orthodox child would have to come to the principal or put it in writing or say, would they have to list the subject matter, what does it say, context, and fact specific accommodation, so they have to like say like these specific contexts, I don't want my child to be involved with.
We have to understand through a conversation with them what they want to opt out of, and what they don't want to be.
So back to Melissa, it's like, how do they know what they need to opt out of if they don't know what their curriculum is?
Curriculum's posted, okay, not every single thing we do in every single class, it's not required, it's not practical to do that.
Sure, sure.
Okay, so
It might be
oftentimes.
somewhat
so-
practical to say like list the books they'll be covering, which shouldn't be too difficult.
Yeah, typically, especially not at elementary typically, but essentially at middle and high, through the syllabus or through, teachers doing so. So they have those things ahead of time. And and probably most of this will probably be in reaction to something.
Right, right.
Okay, which is to be expected and what happened in this case itself, the Supreme Court case. So there shouldn't be, I don't think there should be an expectation that we will inform every family of every single thing that may happen in the class before it does. That's impossible. It shouldn't be expected by a committee or anybody, including parents, okay? But what we can guarantee is a respectful and responsive approach to any parents concerned on a religious basis, to talk it through with them, understand what their concerns are, understand what they don't want their children to learn or be exposed to or see, and then we'll work with them to make appropriate accommodations. But again, I don't think I can say anything other than it's a case by case basis, because it could be a specific book, it could be a specific unit, a unit which is much broader, and certainly whether it's a certain book or read aloud versus entire unit are very different accommodations.
Yeah, and there's a couple other things I want to broach. For one thing, there's been news about something that happened with a questionnaire from the CDC in the Burlington School District. And I think the federal government, the Department of Education.
I know what you're talking about. Let me
Yeah.
actually, give you some accurate information.
Yeah.
It's the Youth Risk Behavior Survey.
Sure, and we have something.
It's done every 2 years, and it's been done in Massachusetts and many other states for years and years, including in Gloucester. The concern from parents was they were not given an opt-out. Or when they were given an opt-out, the opt-out was missed, basically, it wasn't fully operationalized, meaning families that opted out, but the kids still took the survey. And so obviously that caused consternation and upset. We do have an opt-out. It's run in conjunction with the health department and the high school and middle school. We do have a parent opt-out for that, and we can send a letter every time where they can review the survey and or opt out prior to. And we typically, every 2 years when we administer, have about 5 or so in each school that opted out.
Yeah, so we will, or we have proactively offered them the survey to review and decide whether they want to.
No, we give them the opportunity to tell us that they want to review that.
So they would have to know that the survey is coming.
There's a letter that's going.
We
Yeah.
communicate with every single family in the middle school, high school.
And, if they just say CDC survey,
Well, it's
how
not
would they know whether they want to opt out or
It's
not?
not a CDC survey, first of all, okay?
Okay,
It's not a CDC survey. We explain what the survey is and what it's
Yeah.
about, and some of the topics that it covers,
Mhm.
and then, we let them know that they can, give it a way to respond to it and let us know if they
Yeah.
want to opt out, or if they want to review the survey prior to.
yeah, so they will be given the opportunity to review the
And
survey.
we've been doing this for 10 to 12 years,
Yeah,
so it's not
for many
new.
years, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is
It's not
also,
longer.
Well,
anybody can opt out. This is a
Right.
different scenario
This is
because this
different
is a
from the court ruling.
religious.
Different. from
sure,
the-
and I'm
reason,
sure that people have
And that one
religious
can
reasons
be,
to want to.
it doesn't, my whole point is, this is addressing religious concerns on our curriculum. The health survey is broader, and it doesn't matter why somebody wants to opt out. They want to opt out, they don't have to say, I want to opt out because ABC, they would just say, I don't want my child to take this.
Sure,
So
sure.
less
It's
of
a
a
lower
bar.
bar.
Yeah, I understand, but it goes to the broader question of like, how does a parent opt out, if, giving if they're not informed of.
But they are.
But they
So
are.
for this
they get a letter.
particular survey,
Sure,
the
okay.
letter goes out and explains to them how they opt out,
Yeah.
which would be to contact the school.
And the
And
other,
done
the other
this in-
question I had was about libraries, if there's a catalog available to the parents to know what books are on the shelves.
We have our library catalogs that.
Available to parents like remotely, like it's not online,
I don't think it's something.
I didn't think so.
What would be
Maybe
one?
NobleNet,
Hmm?
NobleNet, the
The school-
network
the
for all
school
of
would have
the
that
libraries.
available
would-
there.
I don't know.
Yeah. I know Gordon does have a catalog online, you know, that's obviously a college, but. It's just brought a question of like, parents with religious convictions and orthodox views, knowing what their children are exposed to, if they have concerns for their
I
upbringing.
would recommend a parent that's very concerned about that to reach out to the building principal and
Mhm.
begin the conversation.
Mhm.
And identify specifically what they have concerns about, and then we can deal with each situation individually.
Okay.
But the hypotheticals, there are all kinds of hypotheticals, but if there are parents that have truly concerns, to reach out to the building principals and
Yeah.
start that conversation is probably the best.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we're like proactive, knowing like the sea change kind of thing that's going on. With, quite honestly, like, there's a new, federal, administration and, a lot of unknowns. And who knows what's gonna happen next. I just want to make sure we're thinking ahead rather than acting like retroactive,
Back to the handbook.
So those were the two global changes. Dr. Perrella, I'm gonna let you speak to the high school specific.
Thank you, Amy. Good evening, everyone. I appreciate this opportunity to speak with all of you tonight. I was very, very fortunate to have been left a high school in incredible shape by the former principal, Mr. Cook. And part of that was his ability to craft a very strong and I think profound student handbook. So there hasn't been really much in changes other than dates and names. There is one minor, I think minor in some manner, changes, and that is we have removed student rank as something that's listed on the report cards. And this is something that is still available for students, but in light of some of the research that's been identified as looking at this as a practice that, and as well as becoming more commonly taken out of the equation in students' report cards, I think this is a good move. So apart from that, the yearbook is pretty much the same as it was last year.
I'll just comment, I am delighted with that change. There's just much concern with that ranking and I know it's been brought up to me at least a few years ago of, probably unintended negative implications of doing, so I'm glad that it's finally made it.
Yeah, it doesn't help on a student anyway being on the transcript. We still use it for purposes such as Sawyer
Yeah.
medals.
Yeah.
And obviously valedictorian and salutatorian, salutatorian, sorry. And families or individuals can get that still, get that ranking, but we don't, there's no reason for us to. And most schools that we're aware of, James Cook and our guidance counselors are using it on the transcript. Thank you, John.
All right,
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
thank you. And Mr. Titus, you want to talk about O'Malley?
Sure do. Hi, everybody. Glad to see you here. Thanks for having me. Minimal changes, but a couple of things we just wanted to add some clarity to the cell phone policy, not around what students are or not allowed to do. That has remained the same. The way we best summarize it for students is it is off and away throughout the day. But we wanted to add some clarity to what our progressive discipline and progressive steps are if students have repeat offenses on this. So just noting that we specified that a student will receive an after-school detention for a second offense. And that for a third offense, we just wanted to elaborate that students are subject to further progressive discipline, more than just the detention if necessary. So not a lot of change there, but just some clarity. A few things, just based on some experiences, both in prior districts and here. We want to just add some specific things around unauthorized sales, right? To really avoid anything of, whether it's candy or school supplies that whatever. We just want to make sure kids aren't trying to sell those to their friends, and making sure that with the advent of a lot of apps such as Uber Eats and Grubhub, things like that, and making it very clear that students are not having their lunches delivered to the school. And as a result of that, we also just want to make sure that it was clear that we did want to reserve the right to confiscate prohibited items as a consequence if one of those rules is to be broken.
Have you had that happen?
Yes.
Yes.
I've been meeting with
At
Mr. Titus when
O'Malley?
a pizza was delivered.
Wow, it's.
Remember, all schools are a reflection of society.
Wow.
Our kids don't learn this sort of behavior in schools. Something our schools have to address. So thank you for addressing, Mr. Titus.
Right.
My pleasure.
Can I bring up a suggestion?
Yeah.
I'm gonna advocate for Jeremy right now. I think it's on page 2 of the handbook. There's some names listed. And you still have Samantha Watson's name on there and not Jeremy's name as the school committee. That was the only
Sorry about
error I
that.
could find.
Happy to change
It's
that.
on there, but Jeremy's not.
Happy to change that. Sorry about that,
We'll
Jeremy.
change that. We're very
Other than
sorry.
that, I read every word and it was great.
Mike, just a quick comment, and it's really, I think, for all the principals, just as far as the cell phone policy goes, school committee has certainly bandied the policies around, and with the movement at the state level to kind of maybe ban cell phones completely. I went through the policy. I certainly think it's robust enough at all levels. I just, speaking for myself as a school committee member, it's the importance of enforcement of that policy, I think is critical, at least to me, and it's the push is on to kind of really limit the usage of cell phones, and I just want to kind of reiterate the need to kind of make sure that policy is enforced, that's all.
Yeah, we agree with you 100% over at O'Malley. This was a conversation with our admin team at looking at it, and we agreed that the policy itself about how they can use them really is out ahead of what the state is talking about at that level. But we wanted to add that clarity around enforcement of it. So yeah, definitely agree with you on that.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Dr. Perrell left.
I know.
Please
Okay.
pass that on.
We're gonna pass it on that Mr. Melvin and the school committee are very
That's-
interested and concerned. But that enforcement, and we've got good policies,
Right.
but enforcement matters.
Right.
And to reiterate with him as Mr. Tice is
Every-
saying, good,
Every month of the year.
everyone to the year.
And every policy in the handbook, not just that one, some other ones in there that could. have a
Can I
difference.
guess?
Mhm.
One good
Go
question.
ahead, Jeremy.
So, Mr. Titus, a lot of parents have reached out to me about the bathroom situation. I want to ask Mr. Perrell, Dr. Perrell too. So for discipline, is there a separate speech given to students about bathroom safety? And this always comes up about parents whose kids say I can't use the bathroom or I have to use the nurse's bathroom. Vaping obviously is a big thing, and obviously typical middle school tropes of kids acting up in the bathroom.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that we have, we call them town halls, meetings with the assistant principals, grade level meetings. They tend to happen monthly. They got a little interrupted last year, but we like to have them monthly, where if we're seeing an uptick in certain behaviors, that gets addressed. One thing that we did also do is we were working on expanding our cameras, just in case. What can be really tricky is by the time a kid reports there's an issue in the bathroom, 30 minutes may have passed. And doesn't mean, we can't investigate, but it's helpful to have the cameras there. We're working on getting a few more there. And, so we kind of really drive that home as necessary as we see the upticks and we're responsive to that. That's going to be sort of part of our opening week remarks. We're going to have those, get those meetings scheduled. The first one's the first full week of school. It is tough, right? When students feel that, and obviously we want every kid to feel safe to be able to go to the bathroom, right? That's huge. So we'll continue to work on that and navigate that as best we can. Yeah.
Thank you.
Can I piggyback on that? I'm hearing maybe some more cameras in the school. Is that something we need to talk about at BNF and refer it and finance it? Because it's a wonderful idea.
I'm sorry, I know we're looking at whether we have the funding at the end of the year to do so.
Okay.
I can't remember what the ultimate decision was, based on, this is, we use FY25 funds.
There's
Yeah.
one hallway in particular.
I know we got estimates from Grant, but I just don't remember where we were on it.
So I think we should refer it to BNF to make sure that the funding is available to do what needs to be done for the bathrooms, because it is a concern with many families.
Sure,
So if it's a couple cameras, just make sure we have appropriated those.
yeah,
funding
no,
for it.
for the high school and the middle school, it's about $30,000 to $40,000, it's not
So
small.
we'll have a conversation and talk about it,
Right, yeah.
right?
And people understand, like, this is cameras outside of bathrooms,
Yes,
right?
Right.
Yes, yes,
Absolutely.
they're in the hallways.
Yeah. Yeah, I would hope so.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, I don't, if you can only get 5 instead of 50, you start building, right? And there are genuine concerns in the community about the bathrooms.
Yeah.
I think I would just add is, it's often, it happens and
Yeah.
where parents know about something and they're not telling us.
Right.
And they tell us when it's gotten too bad, honestly, or been happening for too long. So Mike, I know you do this, keep doing this, please encourage parents and other folks, if someone comes to you, encourage parents to tell, teacher, a counselor, a principal, assistant principal. Okay, often in case the assistant principal is probably one of the best people to go to. We can't act, we can't do more for a child or group of children if we don't know what's happening. So,
But from experience on this issue, I think that the student doesn't want the parent to tell the teacher, right? So there are issues going on, the student doesn't wanna rat out and tell people, even though they're telling their parent, because they're petrified. So the communication doesn't follow through, so I think in a situation like this, we can assume that there's problems and how do we do it? As opposed to reacting.
I think it's both and, okay?
Yeah, exactly,
And listen, I had those same conversations with my kids, okay, don't tell.
right,
But parents, we need parents to, prioritize the safety of their children,
right,
or concerns of their children. And of course, a child may think is ratting out, it's a parent for the child.
right.
And we can do that, we can be aware, parents can notify and make our staff aware of these things. And we can handle it in a way where we're not then, pointing out or pulling, making sure the child's aware, we can help it. So, but that's the key thing is really, sorry, Mike, you want to add something to that?
Yeah, and I just want to, going back to some of the conversations, we had last year in the spring around O'Malley and some of the changes we were making to kind of highlight positive things, as we're continuing to bolster the acknowledgement of pro-social behaviors, right? And I mean, that's a big piece and working on some of these things, in increasing leadership opportunities for students, that we are kind of hoping to shift that culture of, like, it's ratting kids out or it's snitching, and that, like, it's okay to report something because this is your school and you deserve to have a nice school. So, there's also cultural work that we're doing to help address that. And then, one of the things is we are still continuing to implement Smart Pass, which does help. That's the digital pass system, allows us to get a sense of who's going to the bathroom when and to which bathroom. It's just helpful. It helps us to determine where, if we do have hotspots, right, we can look at those things. So we continue to do it and that cultural shift, though, as Superintendent Lemus was saying, getting kids to think more than this isn't snitching, right? This isn't tattling. You deserve to have a bathroom that you can go to and feel comfortable in. So you should report that. And then it's that child's decision that they made, right, to do that thing, whatever comes next, that's not the student's reporting fault. That's the child who made a bad decision. And so we're working on that culturally as well.
All right, and finally, the elementary.
Mike, if you could stick around just for a little bit longer in case questions come up that also apply to you.
Happy to.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
And I wouldn't miss
Sorry, I wasn't clear
Principal
with Dr.
Jewett.
Krell.
That's all right. Dr. Jewett?
We don't have any changes other than the ones that Amy presented.
And he waited till the end for that. Thank you for waiting. We probably should have had you go first.
Thank you, Dr. Jewett.
Sweet.
Thank you, Amy.
So do we have a motion to accept the handbooks?
So moved.
Second,
Okay, we've been seconded. Any discussion? Gregor, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And we move on back to.
yes, Mr. Titus, Dr. Jewett, you guys are welcome to enjoy the rest of your evening. Without us.
Very good.
Everybody,
Thank you all very much.
I thought you meant they could enjoy it by staying here.
I could do that too, but.
You should run away right now. Thank you, gentlemen.
Take care.
All right, so now we're going back to you.
Okay.
Yes, so Ms. Pascal will give us an update on both student summer learning and also student professional learning. I mean, rather, adult professional learning.
So, there's been plenty of summer learning and professional development happening over the summer, and I just want to give you a little recap. Our summer learning program at the elementary level, literacy and math, is in its, I think, 5th or 6th year. It has been run by Amy Natola. She has it running like a clock at this point, very well organized and wonderful staff. She has 10 teachers, 1 multilingual learner teacher, 5 grade level ESPs. We had an ML ESP and a tutor. We had added a PE teacher to the program last year and continued that this year. Administrative assistant, and then of course the director. Highlights: the smiles on the face every day, care and supportive environment, daily small group instruction, PE and mindfulness breaks, snack and recess, consistent attendance. Our attendance has gotten better and better this year. In years past, we added the ML Classroom 2 summers ago, and the attendance has not traditionally been that great. So we kind of overfilled it this year because we were hoping to get serve as many students as we can. And most of them came all of the weeks. So that's a wonderful problem to have. We have a collaboration with Open Door, who provided free lunch for all students who needed it and a breakfast bundle for the next morning. We continued our collaboration with the Cape Ann YMCA, where 45 students attended afternoon camp at the Y, and then on Fridays went to a full day at Camp Spindrift. Pathways is a new collaboration as of last year, where they would, so in years past, Pathways would say they either come to Pathways all day or they can't come at all. Amy worked it out with them so that they could come midday, so they could have our learning program in the morning and do Pathways in the afternoon. So that's a wonderful collaboration and expansion. We've had enrichment activities. We had an author come, guest readers, Cape Ann Museum, and ACE, of course, comes. Last year, they added a cat and dog love letter project with Cape Ann Animal Shelter, and they continued that this year. And every year Amy adds something new. So this year there was a free bookstore of gently used books that were free for any students who wanted to take a book home. Here's some pictures of our literacy and math opportunities. And our author visit with David Kelly. Guest readers, you might recognize a few people on the screen. And our work with Cape Ann Museum Education Programs class came in. Here they are writing love letters to cats and dogs, and they are creating a chew toy for them as well.
These are kind of dogs who are at the shelter.
Cape Ann Animal Shelter, which, by the way, I adopted one this summer. Not before this, so.
You're excited.
So I also support Cape Ann Animal Shelter.
How's that going?
I'm not sleeping much at all. He's very cute. And some thoughts from team members. Summer learning program is always run well. The program is an excellent opportunity for students to continue their learning and practice their skills. Some students get the most amazing chance with the YMCA summer camp. Always have the best experience with CAM and the authors visit. And this year's authors is a real treat and very engaging with students. And the other one is what I love, what I love most about the summer learning program is that we get to work in small groups and support children's academic, social, emotional, and behavioral needs. And then at O'Malley, our O'Malley Academy, led by Becky Mastandria, all programs are free for students and in person. They're run Monday through Thursday. They also have a free breakfast and lunch. There was Spanish translation and Portuguese translation available this year. There were 305 unique students attended the summer program. All of our students are unique, but that means we had more participating. Some did multiple programs. We had 10 high school students, interns, and 18 staff members that worked there, 17 staff from within the community. We had programs in drama programs, academic enrichment, and then general enrichment programs. The academic enrichment was more of a tutoring kind of situation for ELA and math, similar to our elementary version, but at middle school level. We also were off-site at Backyard Growers and Harbor 9 Golf Simulator. They did art for middle school, also at Backyard Growers. There was Girls on Adventure. There's been internships and things that students were able to take advantage of. Also at the elementary level, this should have been before O'Malley, I apologize for that, but our 4th and 5th graders were invited to come to a free summer engineering and coding camp. This is funded by the Gordon Foundation in collaboration with GEF, and they have provided many years of this camp. It has grown over the years. Students, they engineered doggy doors and used Legos to build and code games. There's 2 sessions at 2 weeks each, and also held at East Veterans. At the high school, we have some credit recovery programs. We had a 19-day program where 48 students successfully recovered credit. Of the 48 students, 12 recovered credits in multiple courses. There were 12 students who did not receive credit. There were 7 staff members that were led by Sean Goulart and Allie Walsh, and our 7 staff members were Chris Severa, Alexandra Anderson, Carol Fantasy, Matt Anderson, and Megan Bolson. So thank you to all of those staff members who did a great job to help our students. Also for high school students, our RAISE program, which is a year-round program, but it continued in the summer. It's housed at Unity in downtown Gloucester, and 12 students attended RAISE over the summer and were able to recover credit. And thank you to Judy Bloomfeld, Sia Dill, and the Unity staff. And always thank you to our partnership for Children's Friends and Family, it's also called JRI, for making this program possible. The teachers worked on a lot of summer curriculum over the summer. And here's just a list of different curriculum that teachers have focused in on and really honed their craft. Some of them chose a unit or a study. Medical assisting is the exploratory curriculum is where they really dove in. That's new this year. And our special education program serves students pre-K to 12. There are 98 students involved, and that was run by Trina Sotera. This was also held at East Veterans. So we had all 3 levels fully engaged throughout the summer. And then on to professional development. On August 12th, 13th, and 14th, we came together as a leadership team for 3 days of summer meetings. Our focus this year is positivity and purpose. We are going to turn the page and work on having a positive year and really focus our purpose. We worked together to develop our purpose as a leadership team, and principals will be working with their staff to have a common purpose within their buildings, to really focus refocus back on students and on learning and achievement, why we're here every day. And we're going to bring in some positivity along with it. We had a guest speaker that was phenomenal, that really kind of lifted everybody up. And we are looking to bring her to the full staff in February.
Sounds great.
We're to wait that one?
Well, I think it's a mid-year lift. It will be good. Kind of intentional. We also last week had a mentor course, 3 days, where Carol Gregory from Rebus Consulting came in. We are working to breathe more life into our mentoring program and bring in that positivity and really support our newest teachers as best we can. So we worked on that. We had about 26 participants in that course, and they're all very excited to go out and mentor our new teachers. We also had, for the first time, a 2-day safety care training for initial staff members so that they will start the year fully ready and trained to work with some of our most challenging students and be able to support them appropriately. Yesterday, what was today? No. Today, feels like yesterday.
Yeah.
As I said yesterday, I was like, wait a minute, I think that was today. It's a very long day, it's still gone.
It's like 2 days.
Yeah, there were actually, this was one professional development that turned into 2. So Jude Santamera led a collaborative problem solving training for our program staff. He did a phenomenal job. They were very excited about it. And then Julie Kunzer pulled some of our ASD classrooms where students that don't have the strong verbal skills that are needed for collaborative problem solving, and worked on curriculum development like unique learning and some other strategies that they use within those programs. Both of those trainings were at West Parish, and I heard nothing but wonderful things about it. I don't know if you want to say anything else. So I
Yeah,
think
so
that's like
it's just
both of them.
bringing in collaborative problem solving. It's been in the district, but now really having a focus on it is such an important thing because it talks about skill development for kids and a range of kids, disabled, non-disabled. It's good for all kids. It just shifts the lens from a behavioral lens, and kids make mistakes because they want to. It's probably because they don't have a skill set to adjust, self-regulate, and make bad decisions in that way. So collaborative problem solving is a great initiative to continue in the district. I'm looking forward to expanding it. Our autism programs have expanded at East Vets and at West Parish, so it's really important for us to continue to have PD that's focused in on that, because those youngsters, some of them are nonverbal. And so any kind of verbally mediated intervention is not going to be successful for them necessarily, right? So it's really important to adapt the accordingly. So we're having a higher number of identifying kids with severe autism.
And both trainings were led by teachers, and a huge thank you to Jude Santamera and Julie Kunzer to share their expertise. It was great. And tomorrow, we welcome our new staff for new staff orientation. We've done such a great job in hiring. Brittany Holmes and I were kind of overwhelmed by the number that will be there tomorrow, but we're gonna be great. But that's good. It's good. It's a good problem to have.
So you're saying this year we're just gonna have good talk.
We're gonna have positivity and we're gonna have purpose.
Big sign, right on.
Yes.
So we'll, a few of those, seminars or whatever you wanna call them,
That's-
certainly, huh?
That was his name, Jude Seminary.
No, I'm saying, for these, like some of these events, these
Oh, yeah.
trainings, they, it listed, staff will be notified if they need to attend, so how, what, is it position specific or is it?
The ones today were position specific.
Yeah.
And they were notified, yeah.
Yeah, and then, that's because of like, what they're doing in their
In-
job.
yeah.
District programs
District
was the
program.
focus on
Yeah.
this one,
And then,
more specifically, the more intensive programs district wide, and we expanded on those.
yeah, I know there was a big, concern about like safety. ESPs and such.
Right.
Yeah.
And if for safety care, collaborative problem solving,
Yeah,
all of that addresses those.
So, and for this collaborative problem solving, that's like teaching, teachers and ESPs to help children understand how to work through that
in essence, yes,
rubric or whatever you say.
process, yes,
Yeah,
exactly right.
And what is the collaborative part of it?
So collaborative means that you're sitting down talking to the student and understanding what's happening and why. And,
Mhm.
and you're not doing that when a student is dysregulated to a point where they're unsafe. You're not sitting down and saying, why are you doing this? You wait until a time where they're calm and you're able to debrief and kind of talk about what happened. What might have made you feel that way? What can we do in the future to avoid that? And if we learn from Lynn Lyons, who came many years ago, we don't have them avoid the tasks that they don't want, but we find the skills that they need and teach them those skills so that they can do hard things.
So collaboration between the adult and the student.
That's right,
Yes.
right. We're not just telling kids and saying, no, comply. They're telling us they're not able to.
Right.
So it's looking at behavior through a different lens.
And then could that be also translated peer to peer as well?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Because part of the skill you're helping them develop is working peer to peer, maybe working peer to peer as well. That might be the challenge they're having.
I know I missed the recognition part of the meeting, but just wanted to give a shout out to Amy Natola for the reading program at the elementary school. Not only does she continue to invite me back despite my lack of reading skills, but just the way she makes you feel, like the importance of, coming in to read to the kids and the inquisitiveness nature of the kids and asking questions. We don't, as school committee members, we don't always have that kind of interaction with students, but it's really a highlight to just be able to sit there for a few minutes and listen to me read. So
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
She does a great job.
Yeah, I'm sorry I missed it this year. Last year, it was very rewarding, like personally rewarding. I didn't even expect that, and that was like I was just doing it because I wanted to do something kind, but it's amazing how those things affect yourself.
Yeah.
And it makes me want to do more like that.
Well, we'll sign you up next summer.
Yeah, yes.
Positive experiences are contagious.
Yeah. Yeah, it was amazing how attentive the kids were, in this day and age of like limited attention span.
That's all it? Okay, thank you. Okay, so, next item is, action. We have, we already did that. We need to vote for the superintendent to be on the Northeast Consortium Board. We do this every year. Right?
So.
Second. Okay, moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have a lot of grants. And I don't want to jump over being appreciative of particularly the ones that are not entitlement grants, but that are very generous grants. But without objections, can I do them all, or is there any,
I think that's a great idea.
or are there anybody who wants to? Okay, so I'll do them all, and if there's anything anybody wants to say, we'll do it in discussion. Okay, I'm gonna read them all. I move that we accept the Gloucester Education Foundation Elementary and Middle School Band Program Support Grant in the amount of $7,500. The GF O'Malley Science Center Coordinator Position Year 1 of 3 grant in the amount of $100,000. GF Medical Assisting Lead Instructor Position Year 1 of 3 grant in the amount of $59,617. The Gloucester Education Foundation Elementary Lego Science Kits Grant in the amount of $16,631.01. Massachusetts Life Sciences STEM Equipment and Professional Development Grant in the amount of $30,495. Fiscal year 2026 FC 0215 Genocide Education Grant in the amount of $38,100. Family Services of Merrimack Valley Inc. Suicide Prevention and Mental Health Grant in the amount of $2,000. Massachusetts Department of Health Comprehensive School Health and Behavioral Health Grant in the amount of $184,500 for fiscal year 26 and $184,500 for fiscal year 27, for a total of $369,000. Fiscal year 2026 hate crime prevention FC 794 grant, the amount of $20,000, FC 2026 FC 0310 McKinney-Vento homeless grant, the amount of $15,000. Fiscal year 2026 EEC Commonwealth Preschool Partnership Initiative grant, the amount of $609,905. And fiscal year 2026 FC 0422 Perkins Equipment and Program Improvement grant, the amount of $5,000. And I so vote.
Second. Can I have one piece of discussion?
Yes.
First of all, excellent that we're getting these grants, especially all the GEF grants, and specifically those of us who've been talking about expanding and strengthening the vocational program many years. Item number 3 is, and I'm just so pleased that it's on there, and thanks to the hard work of everybody involved in getting that done. And I'm excited to see how things go in this first year. No, sorry, that's for the instructor for the medical assisting.
Great. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And we have a scholarship to approve. We approved this last meeting, but it did not have the amount and we need to have the amount. So I move that we accept the A. John Frisello Esquire Scholarship Grant in the amount of $1,000.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So that's the end of our regular business. We are going into executive session and we will only come out to adjourn. So I move that we enter executive session pursuant to executive session purpose 2 of Mass General Law 30A, section 21A, to discuss strategy and or to conduct contract negotiations with non-union personnel, and purpose 3 of Mass General Law 30A, section 21A, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining with the Gloucester AFSCME clerical pay.
Second.
Okay, we'll call vote.
Mr. McKean,
Yes.
Chairperson Clancy,
Yes.
Mayor Verga,
Yes.
Ms. Prince,
Yes.
Mr. Minio,
Yes.
Mr. Melvin.
Yes.
Anyone who joined us this evening?